A coffee machine breaks the silence in an otherwise quiet cafe. A single employee surrounded by upside-down chairs on empty tables keeps the place tidy. The only other person at the cafe is Felipe Evangelista. The owner of the old mailbox at cafe in downtown Buenos Aires is sitting at his desk, realizing once again he won't be able to make ends meet. It's a rather unusual situation because the blinds are closed and the tables empty, when the main thing about a place like this is people, Evangelista says. It's the first time since opening 37 years ago that the old mailbox is closed. It's one of hundreds of cafes, bars, and restaurants in Buenos Aires that have been forced to shut their doors due to the coronavirus pandemic.
Almacenes de barrio.
This restaurant owner says they've been trying to survive by becoming a neighborhood market and offering takeaway and food delivery service. So far, he says, they've only been able to generate about 10% of their pre-pandemic sales. Argentina has been hit especially hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. Financial analyst Jonathan Loiri says the pandemic and the quarantine measures worsened an economy that was already in recession. He points out there has been no real economic growth since 2011. The GDP has been falling for years, and the annualized inflation rate, even before the pandemic, was 55%. Uncertainty is the word that best describes life in Argentina nowadays, Loiri says. The government just recently reached a deal with creditors who are owed $65 billion, roughly 20% of its crushing $323 billion total debt. But President Alberto Fernandez says his priority is a venture involving Oxford University, an Anglo-Swiss lab, and Mexico to manufacture a coronavirus vaccine that he hopes would put his country's economy back on track. But patience is running low. About 25,000 Argentinians took to the streets of Buenos Aires Monday to protest a judicial reform launched by Fernandez, the economic crisis, and the government's handling of COVID-19. Back at the old mailbox cafe, Felipe Evangelista fears developing a vaccine may take longer than the country's economy can withstand. He says one of his greatest fears is that life will change so much that people will never return to the little corner cafe that has been a gathering spot for generations of Argentinians. Rafael Romo, CNN.